1, 2. 1, 2, 3, Nice. Little bluesy jam to start things off on the
6th
episode of Licks and Tricks. I'm your host, Ethan Mackowick. Today I got Zachk Cain from Catatoneya, Tempered. Anything else?
I'd play in a couple other small things, but nothing that's played out yet. I drum for like a rap group, actually.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, but we haven't played a show yet. But it's Catatoneya and Tempered mostly.
Some side gigs?
Some side gigs.
All right,
some
sick.
side gigs.
Great guitarist, good
Thank
guy. We're going to talk about some licks today.
Oh, yeah. Very excited.
So we were just playing like a normal, lame guitar blues earlier.
Lame,
But yeah.
whatever. The foundations of rock
Of
music,
rock and
just
roll.
super lame. How could you even?
Yeah, but everyone plays it. But I noticed you're doing some like different stuff. What was kind of like some of the licks you were working with that you like to go to?
So I really like the chords you start off with. Like I use a lot of that kind of like
that
that
dominant
little
seven.
like 3. I'm not very good with names. That's one
Yeah.
thing. But like I know that like when you stack like that, like and anything like underneath that, like all sounds really nice. And then when I do a lead for something like that, or with anything really, I like to I use a lot of like pentatonic stuff, as most people I feel like build off of. But I like to do like when I was like down here, so I would like come back but I like to like throw or like a. So if I'm like what was it? D, it was like I don't know, let me think. So like even like A.
Yeah.
I like to throw like the minors and the little extras in there.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know?
Like the minor ninth. So you're
Yeah. I like to throw a lot of those in because I feel like I like that like almost sad tone that it gives like a lead.
So he's in A. He's in A, hitting like just like an A minor thing, then going like.
Yeah. And like you can find them everywhere too.
Yeah.
Like a little like.
Yeah. So in A, that would be like
You
G string 4th fret hitting that note.
Yeah. Anything that like a lot of times with like it's just like the main form of like the first position.
Yeah.
A lot if you just like slide half down or half up in like certain little circumstances, it gives you like a really cool.
As
thing
long
to
as you
mess
always
with,
like
a really
end,
cool
kind of
flavor.
end up on a.
Yeah, you can almost like something I found is you can almost play like anywhere as long as you end up back in like the right spot. You know what I mean? That like it makes which is like a cool thing to know. You know, like it like opens up like what you can do a lot.
Just doing like you do like some chromatic stuff.
Yeah.
Like just like walking up.
Yeah, like I do a lot of like little roll. Like I've been doing that since I was like a little like
yeah, that's a fun lick.
like just a little like roll.
Let's talk about that one because I like that one too. Because you're in A.
Yeah, you can do it anywhere. You can do it anywhere. That's just like the middle of the guitar. So lots of times when I just like go right there.
Playing right there. But you're doing like from the 5th fret. You're doing those 3 notes, and then you're doing the same thing on the string above.
Yeah, it's just a cool way to get into like a solo lick. Like if you're doing like a, you know what I mean? Or like you can do it like, or I don't know, like that's when I do a lot.
Yeah.
Just those like any of those.
So
like,
you're starting on that note we were talking about earlier, like.
Yeah. But you do like a roll up. Yeah, you do like a roll up like with both of them. You know?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. I like using those like little weird like minor notes and stuff. And that roll is something I've done since I like started playing guitar. I don't know why. It's just something I did.
Yeah, and that rhythm's kind of explosive to start in a solo. Like you just kind of like you blazing in.
Yeah,
hitting,
yeah. You like
bunch of notes are-
punches them. It almost builds to it too. Because if you do it to like a bend, like if you get to that normal like that kind of note, or like you can like. And like so like you
And
like
then
kind of
hold it
build
out.
up to it, like da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it like punches you after you like get to it, you know, which I think is really cool.
I
Or like
love
can be really cool.
doing stuff like that. I don't know if you do, but you go like, then you go like you just say like you just do it again, but like you hit like another bend or something.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I've been getting more into like dissident bends too, like stuff like that. Like I've been like working with weird stuff like that because I like it.
Yeah, we've talked about that before, but it's still fun to talk about. So you're taking like A, taking that, and you're going on the B string 3 frets up, and you're bending that note into, so that creates that A right there. But you're playing them at the same time, so it's like, and you gotta do that anywhere.
Yeah. You can do it on different strings and stuff too. But I feel like those basic things, like even though like you mentioned you talk about it before, like that's a really good like foundation to give like flavor to like a lead you're playing.
If a guitarist can't do that in a rock band, it's like pretty lame.
What are you doing?
What are you doing, kid? That's fun. So let's get away from more of the bluesy stuff because like Catatoneya. Let's talk about Catatoneya in particular because that's what I'm most familiar with.
Yeah,
it's like it's interesting people like talking about the genre because you can't really pin it down, but it's like grunge, indie kind of. There's hard things, but the thing I find interesting is like the chord voicings you use a lot. Like in a song like Alone, which is like the album ender. Mm-hmm. There's like a really cool. Like, can you demonstrate like or like just like the way it starts?
Is it the like yeah? So the
just like the first thing that happens. Yeah. So let's talk about that chord because that's not a normal chord.
Yeah. I found out later that like it's pretty much just like it's nicer sounding, but it's just an E, you know. But it's just like spread out. So it's what would that be? 12, 11, 10, 9? No, I skip one. I skip one in between.
Are you doing like this?
It's all 4 fingers and I skip one in between. It's a stack on 11 and 12, and then I skip 10 and 9 and 8 down.
Oh, it's like. Oh, so it's like a major 7th chord. Because like normally you play it because you got like the 7th in there.
Yeah.
But you're playing it like almost like you would a G. That's a stretch. Yeah. That's like a good finger exercise.
Yeah,
almost.
definitely.
Then what's that thing you're doing?
It's like a sweep. So it goes. You just kind of take the. Oh, I fucked it up that time, of course. But
yeah,
you know. My favorite part about that song though is like the next chord. Like I think that chord, like I don't know why, but that chord change has always like got me. Like so, like it comes up and does like that for a little while. But then on the last one it goes. I really love the way those two goes together.
That was cool. What are you doing there?
It's just I use this formation a lot in a lot of things I do. So it's like, you know, I don't know names. I wish I did, so I could explain it to you better. But it's minor. It's what would that be? F sharp.
F.
Yeah,
you're
like
playing
that.
like a basically just like a minor chord.
Yeah,
but like almost like you would play like a C down here. You're just like moving it up.
I like using those formations a lot. Like it's the only thing that you have is this you stack it the other way, like these 2 fingers here, and then yeah.
Like this.
Up one more with this finger.
Up one more.
Up a string. I'm sorry.
Up a string, like this.
Yeah. And then when you let the bottom things out, I think it rings really nice with that, you know? I think I don't know why, but I love the way they ring together with like the open like bottom strings.
Because like the notes are like so close together almost.
Yeah.
Like, I find it's really interesting like when you play a chord, but you like because normally you play like this and you go root 5th octave, and it's kind of like lame notes to hit. But if like you skip this one, you can add in. It's already wicked warmer.
Oh yeah, I love those too. Yeah, those are really nice. Anything in that
stuff like that. It's just like. If you learn, like, because you're telling me before, you don't really have names for them. You just kind of, like, figure out something that sounds cool.
I mean, like, I know, like, the basics of, like I know, like, my major chords and my minor chords and, like, power chords. But like, once you start, like, changing my fingers all around. I know where like the root note is, and that's pretty much all I know. So I don't really know what to call them because I just kind of like, I don't know. I just like look for something that sounds interesting. Like I'll just be like jamming something, and I'll just like I'll want to make a chord that is a little more interesting than regular. So
you just kind of sit down and like try to figure out.
Yeah, just like I'll just like try this. I'll like put this finger here and put that finger there and put that finger there. I'm like, no, that one's not good. So I'll like move it over here, and I'll like, oh, that one's kind of nice, and then like just kind of jam from there. And
it creates very interesting like textures in the band.
Yeah,
it's like I feel like almost like a bass heavy band.
Yeah,
you have a monster
Kyle,
bassist.
Yeah, Kyle does play a lot. True, and like he like fills it.
Yeah, he fills it up, and like those chords you're playing though, like also like lend to the bass really well. Like the low end area.
Fair. I never thought of it like that before. I never thought of that before. The one thing I like about like doing the 3-piece thing is there's a lot of room to move around. You know what I mean? There's a lot of room to do a lot of like really like flavorful chords, not like regular things, and he can play a lot on the bass.
Yeah.
And it as long as we're playing well, it doesn't sound like super overwhelming, like everything's everywhere kind of thing. You know?
Go check out Catatoneya's album. Just listen to the bass. It's all fire. It's
shout
so
out
good.
to Kyle.
Yeah, shout out to Kyle.
I love you. What do you think, Kyle?
We're not doing this now. Not now. Not on my show. I was kidding.
Oh, man, shut it down.
Yeah. Well, let's go and let's talk about something else because I love my favorite song. I know JJ's favorite song is Juliet on the album, the opener. We're talking about the finale and the openers, which are like the most important songs in an album probably. So the riff.
Depending on where riff you're talking about, I've had that one
like
for
the
a very
chorus one.
The chorus. Okay, so the chorus I came up with a little bit later.
We could talk about the verse. Let's talk about the verse first.
The verse I really like the because it's like it lays behind a little bit, especially in the mix, but it's like the. It's like a. And then you come back down on the last one.
I always thought you were just playing a chord. I didn't realize you were like arpeggiating.
Yeah. And then like the second part, like the second half of it's my favorite part. It's like, fuck, Gores.
Oh, are you hitting the D up above?
The D kind of rides through the whole verse, because like. And then, like, when it goes in the second part, it, like, picks, like, down just in a row. Yeah, I don't know. It's, like, it's neat. I feel like, especially because the song, like, it's kind of heavy because of the chorus riff, but, like, it's also has, like, that's a really like, light-sounding riff. You know what I mean?
Can you, like, slow it down? I'm trying to hit the rhythm.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. So it's just picked like down or well man, can I slow it down? Yeah. You know, so down and then back to the low and then twice.
Oh. So you're not hitting it. Oh, okay.
So you go back to after the first. Yeah, after the first one, you go back to the low end. And then
that's sick. That's really cool.
The next is just like the D with these. Yeah.
That's super dope.
Yeah, I really like that one. I had it since like high school.
It's almost like the blues, like the. But the way you play it, like the rhythm of it doesn't sound anything like that.
You know what? It's cool that you like you made some like associations so far that like I didn't make. You know what I mean? Like that's so it's like neat to hear that because I didn't think about that like at all.
Well, I'm just like I've always like loved the blues, and that's like
how could you not?
You know, that's the thing. Can we talk about the chorus?
Yeah,
because the chorus was so dope.
It's like super. It's not super hard. It's just like so. It's like one of these. I use a lot of structures like that.
Yeah.
It's the same structure as this chord actually. If you just take off that finger, you know, real simple. You can slide that like anywhere. It's good, useful for everything. Solos. Okay. And then so you hit it real hard with it. So you kind of like sweep all the. You like sweep all the way down from the top. Yeah. So you just sweep all of them, kind of stop as you go down, and you shift like the low note, you know? And
That's so dope,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, I love it. Like, I love when Nate does. Every time I play that, I think of like the time Nate's like,
Yeah.
I like that. That kills me. But once the open notes sound kind of like non-musical almost when you like play them like that. But
It's
like
just
when
like
you
a-
really like hit it and it has like the distortion on, like. You know, it really punches and it really like drives with that. I really like it. And
I'm
like
gonna go home and play that riff. I'm so glad because I would have never been able to like listen to it and figure out that's what's actually what you're doing.
Yeah. I really I like it when it hits it first, like when it first goes in the chorus. It like after the first pause and we hit, it's like it sounds
Dude,
like a
so
car
dirty.
wreck. Sounds like
It's
a
so
fucking
good.
train wreck, and it's like the best thing ever. Like it like punches me in the face. I love it.
It's a riff that like makes you mad. 'Cause you're like, I wish I
Makes
thought of
you
that. 'Cause I want
mad.
to play it live. You know, I want to be like on stage. Like,
Yo,
I want to play
if
that
you
riff,
learn
bro.
it and come up and play Juliet with us
I
one
would
time.
love to. Just
be
for
awesome.
I just come up for the riff.
That'd be awesome, dude.
I don't know
That'd
if
be
I get.
awesome.
I'll try to get everything.
We
up
could
to
get to
speed.
that little solo part. We could like
Yeah.
trade back and forth. That'd be a lot of
Double
fun.
guitar solo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That'd be a great
so much
time.
fun.
That's super fun. Last question. Question I ask all the guitarists who come on Licks and Tricks, hosted by Ethan Mackowick, is like what's something you get home after a long day and you just want to play guitar. You don't want to like write anything. You just want to play. What kind of stuff do you play?
So like a thing that I do a lot is I'll pick like a random root note, like for any like regular bar chord. Recently, like I try to like push myself by using places on the guitar I don't normally play, so I can like be more comfortable playing leads and stuff there.
What's like a place you're
and
not
I'll
comfortable
just
with?
like I don't know, like I'm normally pretty I'm not trying to like, but I'm normally pretty good on all like the main. But like once you start getting like in betweens, like I just don't end up playing
The
there
half
as much.
steps,
Yeah. So like I'll just like fuzz it out, which is super loud buzz.
Yeah.
And but either way, and I'll just like almost like what we did in the beginning. I just
I
like
do
pick
that
a
all the
root note
time.
and then I just like play from there. And eventually, like sometimes I'll come to like cool like I've been messing around with like this sort of chord, like, you know, like I'll just end up through just jamming on like that root note, picking some chords that I like, and just expand on that for a while, you know. And a lot of times, if I have a new technique I'm learning, I like to learn techniques through jamming too. So like I'll like try to like throw some random stuff in there that like I'm not used to doing, you know, just to like. When I pick up to just like sit down and play, like at least I'm like learning some new stuff, you know, and like trying to advance my ability a little bit, you know.
Just like in Ryan's, he's in the room right now actually, but you know, always go outside your comfort zone. Hey Ryan, you know, always be progressing, playing new stuff.
I feel like that's really important. Like it's like I was told when I was young also to like always play with people that are like better than you, and I feel like that's the same like idea, you know, because like it just always keeps you moving forward and like I don't
gives you
know.
new ideas.
Yeah, I feel like no matter what your goal is overall in music, you probably want to be like, or at least I personally want to be like the best I can be at my instrument. You know, I want to do like the coolest, come up with the next coolest thing I can think of after I write the last coolest thing I can think of. You know, so like
I don't like
expand.
Yeah, I don't usually impart my wisdom on this show, but I always found playing is always better than not playing too.
True.
If you're gonna not like really practice something out of your comfort zone, that's fine. Just always be playing at least. You know? It's always better. Than
Definitely. Like you should play as much as you possibly can. Like if you're like watching this and you're like, oh, like I want to start playing guitar, or like, oh dang, I wish I
Learn
could play
the
guitar again.
Juliet
Just
riff.
do it. Just play all the time.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that like keeps, you know, just play it all the time. Just play all the time.
That's some
Yeah,
wisdom.
anyone could be good at guitar or really good. You just gotta play all the time.
And you don't have to be the best. You have to be just the best you can be.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
It's like a really motivational, uplifting,
inspirational episode of Licks and Tricks.
We got kind of deep there. Yeah, all right, clap it up. Hey, I think this brings us to the end. Zachk Cain, it's so good to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you again for
Honored
coming
to be
on.
on with a legend.
Listen to Catatoneya. Their album Growth came out a couple months ago. It's badass. Play
Listen to
along
all
to
the
some
Steel
of these
City
riffs.
Death Club bands. Daisy Chain.
Oh, thanks, man. You don't have
Trashy
to do that.
Boys.
It's my show.
I know I don't have
Don't
to
you
do it,
talk.
but I love you guys.
Well, thanks again, man, for coming on. It's been Licks and Tricks. See you around. That was a really good one. That was really good. Today has been great.